Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is no longer part of the list of Copa members. I think that is a big deal, right? But how so? Well, when you look into it, I decided, well, I'm going to open this up more. And in the process of doing so, I came to the conclusion that, interesting. Because if you went to the Copa site, which some of you guys do, I imagine somebody like Cool Cat and some of the other guys, you will come to the conclusion that, yeah, the big elephant in the room is no longer there. How do we know that? Well, they're just not there. They were there, right? Talking about Meta, aka Facebook. They're not there no more. Interesting. Did you verify this, Max? Well, of course. I need to verify things, especially when it comes to BSV, because let's face it, sometimes, especially I think a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh my gosh, guys, check this out. Big, huge news in regards to, BSV being potentially selected as one that Elon Musk is considering. Guess what? That guy that provided that news outlet for that, wow, that was not accurate. So I pull it from the channel. Yeah, there are people watching, getting lots of views, new subs. No, can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. So I pulled it. So the way I look at it was like, need to find out more information. So what about this? Do we have more information? Yeah, here it is. You go straight to opencrypto.org/members. You can verify it for yourself. It's not a doctored up image. It's a real McCoy. And it is missing. Yeah, it is missing. And it was there, and it's not there anymore. So why is old Max and some of these other guys pointing some of this stuff out? Well, say what you want. Meta is a huge, centralized, right, data marketplace. Probably one of the biggest ones that stand out. When we talk about JASMY being a decentralized data marketplace for the future, what they're doing with not just data democracy, finance democratization, you name it. Well, when we talk about, for instance, GAFA, right? That's part of the mix. Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple. So what I want to point out to you guys is this. While Meta is no longer part of this list of Copa members, since Copa is technically the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, if you're wondering what that stood for, what's so significant about this? And will Facebook, yes, Facebook, aka Meta, will they choose BSV? Will they? Or is that just being too speculative? Well, let's talk about this a bit. So, Meta is definitely no longer listed, as we saw in regards to the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, as of January 30th, 31st, give or take. While the exact reason for the departure, of course, is unknown, it has, of course, sparked speculation about their future involvement in the blockchain space, particularly regarding their potential adoption of, BSV. Some people say, they're going to go with BSV. We don't know that. And some people have also stated, well, have they ever took a chance on anything else? Their answer is also yes on that. We'll get into that in a bit. But let's talk about what we do know so far. And what we do know so far is there's probably some significant reasons for Facebook leaving Copa. Two main things I want to talk about with you guys tonight, and that is this. Reduced industry collaboration. Copa itself did aim to foster collaboration and innovation within the blockchain industry by creating a shared patent pool. True. However, Meta's departure does seem to weaken this collective effort and could potentially hinder future cross-industry cooperation. Let's face it, sometimes when it comes to things, people look at things as guilty as, by association. People will either associate or disassociate themselves just with a simple move of what is Mark Zuckerberg doing, right? It does allow this whole thing of shifting the priorities. Is Mark Zuckerberg and Meta shifting their priorities? Well, I don't know that yet, but This exit might very well indicate a shift in their blockchain priorities, and this might very well cause a focus on internal development and exploring alternative patent strategies. Of course, they're outside of what Copa, offers. I think that's very true. I think that's actually what's going on, but I don't have an answer. All right, these two things, because you guys want to talk about this. Does it sound legitimate or too speculative to say that in light of what's happened, there would be possible adoption of BSV, especially for Facebook? Possibly, but you got to keep in mind, if you look into both, I think that this is in alignment with BSV's goals, because BSV promotes a specific vision of Bitcoin, true, and it does emphasize adherence to the original Bitcoin protocol without scaling changes, right? If Meta aligns the course with this specific vision of what Bitcoin is trying to do, stay true to the original Bitcoin, then you have to keep in mind BSV could be its potential choice. Some people say, yeah, it is the choice. It's got to be the choice because of real true scalability. Nothing else comes close. And I'd be with you on that. Nothing does come close whatsoever to the actual utility of BSV, and especially when it comes to scalability. I mean, come on, man. I mean, billions, if not trillions of TPS for the future. Even at where we're at right now with Terranode, you have millions. So I think somebody like Zuckerberg and the higher ups from Facebook do get whiff of that. Somebody is given the memo. Maybe they looked into it themselves, but it's worth pointing out. Now, the other thing I want to mention is there's lots of uncertainties when it comes to this, right? And that is this. What are exactly the true motivations of Meta and what they're going to, where they're going to go with this? I mean, just to leave? Did they say anything to anybody? Or is that part of an NDA? Who knows? But Meta's true reasons for leaving Copa, of course, are unclear. And it does make it difficult to predict their future blockchain moves. But I think we'll find out that here soon. And of course, I'll explain that here in a bit. There's going to be alternative options for Meta. And let's face it, they might very well explore other blockchain techs or develop their own solutions, leaving BSV as just one possibility. Now, how do we know that? Well, let's take it to this. And some of you guys already have the answer to how we know that. It's this right here. Aptos, right? Aptos, we know about Aptos. Who doesn't know about Aptos by now? I mean, if you're new, you're new. But I think the notion that it's this or bust, I don't think that's the case. I think they still will use this in the use case of Aptos and so on, because of obviously the heavy ties with it. When you think of Aptos, most people immediately will mention the likes of Meta, Facebook, right? But my point is that if this exists, this whole notion that they're not going to get into the whole blockchain game because it's never been done before with them, that's a line of malarkey, because Aptos is the example. And with that also said, you got to keep in mind that while all this is just speculations based on, of course, the available information, because that's what we have, the future of Meta's blockchain involvement does remain uncertain. But keep in mind, we'll try to find out if anybody has some definitive answers. I think those answers are going to open up here soon. How so? They opened themselves up when they left Copa, right? So like to pick some brains in regards to this. Obviously, people in the community might know more about this than I do.